So I think just like regular ed teachers, we wear a number of hats. Like I'm a counselor when students come in and they've got, anxiety. A lot of our students have anxiety. I am helping them advocate for themselves. So I'm an student advocator. I am preparing lessons and teaching lessons. I'm case managing and running IEPs. I'm making sure that students are getting equal access in their general education classes. After 22 years, I loved teaching elementary 5th grade. I really enjoyed my middle school stint in humanities, language arts, and social studies, but I know that I will probably end my career right here in special ed. I really enjoy the work I do, and the rewards, you get to see that at the end of 4 years, and it's kind of like starting a project and following it all the way through. And it's nice when students reach back out and they're like, Mrs. V, guess what I'm doing? I'm studying marine biology over at Oregon Coast College. Like they're doing it. They're doing what they need to be doing, and I was a small part of helping them get to where they want to be in the future. That's very rewarding.
So when you have a good SPED teacher, the students that have made a connection with that teacher, it's like they know that person's going to go to bat for them. Because it's their job. It's their job to know every little thing the student needs. And if it's not getting met, they're the advocate. They go and hey, you need to help Johnny with this part. He needs to see the notes. He needs to have a copy of the notes. He can't take notes and listen to what you're saying. He's really good about studying the notes, but we need to do, little things like that. And they're amazing.
I have a senior this year. I'll call him Craig. And when he started his freshman year, his mom and I were pulling our hair out, trying to figure out how we were going to motivate Craig. How are we going to get Craig to see that all of the work that we're trying to invest for him isn't going to pay off for us, it's going to pay off for him. Senior Craig is a whole different kid than freshman Craig. When mom showed up at our back to school night, like the second week of school, she had tears in her eyes and we gave each other the biggest hug because Craig has grown leaps and bounds. I'm like, what did you do to him over summer? She's like, what did you do to him over these last 3 years? He's just such a different kid. I think that is that's that partnership between teachers and parents. Like we have to be on a united front and a team. It's also the growth and maturity that Craig went through his 4 years of high school. And it's that testament of how much that every day is a new day. So Craig could have been a little stinker and been really rude to us and blown out of the classroom yesterday. But today he comes in and we all have a smile and we're ready to reset and start over.
Finding quality staff is critically important. So a SPED teacher not only is supporting the students, but they usually have some educational assistants that work with them. And there's a real talent there on how to support the staff that are supporting your students and having that team.
EA stands for Educational Assistant, and we work in the classroom as support for the SPED teachers, usually. We're there to support the learning of students who have a 504 plan or who have an IEP. For me, I work exclusively with students who have an IEP, an individualized education plan. This semester, I'm pretty much one-on-one with a couple of students, so that means I follow them around to whatever class, or we trade off. I will switch with somebody for the next class. But if a student has a one-on-one support, that means that they have somebody with them, an adult with them at all times, pretty much.
It's one thing to be really good with the students in your own class, but as a school this large, you have more than one SPED teacher and they really have to work really well together. So it's more so than maybe other teachers do at a high school level. It's like, I may be the student's case manager, but they may be taking their special education class with another SPED teacher here, and there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of support.
I would say that all teachers should spend a little bit of time in SPED, because I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand maybe some of the steps required in differentiation. Like, there's a spectrum regardless, and sometimes people don't understand that, if you just rephrase a little bit here, or if you're patient with some behaviors, or if you know how to redirect, or ask a question a certain way, then you can oftentimes get a much more effective result.
If somebody's thinking about becoming a SPED teacher, they need to become a good communicator. It's all about the communication. And and receiving the information and being able to share that in a way that can be received is really amazing.
Really think about why you want to get into special ed, because if you have like this savior complex that like, oh, I'm going to work with all these cute little kids with Down syndrome, or I'm going to work with that autistic student who, can't communicate, you've got to really think about where your heart's at. And if you're in this for the wrong reason, because you think there's something that you can offer them that maybe there's a dozen other people that can offer those things, you've got to go in with tenacity, with patience, with a determination that you're here for the right reasons. And so if we have OSU students who are looking to go into teaching, they're going to be able to say, wow, I've always had a love for language arts, but I've always had a love for working with kids with special needs, and now they can merge those. And get your bachelor's or undergrad in English, and then come back and get your master's in special education. I guarantee you it'll pay off.
When people are thinking about why do I want to become a SPED teacher, okay, I know I can make a living at, great, but I want to make a global difference, right? And that's the hope. I'm good at it. Am I good at working with others? And do I love it? And if you've got that, then you nailed it. And you're going to make a difference, and it's going to matter to the kids.